Hi everyone, and welcome to another TAILEATERS discussion. In this discussion, we're going to be talking about personal growth, building community, and overall consciousness. So without further ado, let's get to the discussion. When I'm personally exploring my own consciousness or trying to understand things about myself, I tend to get a little bit locked into my own version of reality. I'm actively engaged in what I'm thinking about, but I'm not really thinking about what other people's opinions of those ideas are. And I think from that, we can run into a lot of issues. One, self thought can create circle thoughts where nothing's really getting thought out, nothing's really clear, and it also leads to a lot of anxiety and often depression because of that. What I think the best way to overcome those things is by creating dialogue with other people and listening to their honest opinions about what you have to say. And I'm not talking about posting something or responding to somebody's post or whatever in a way that is proving your point. What I'm saying is post something or let yourself go out and listen to honest opinions of people and allow them to speak their opinion and then remark on it through your own reflection versus like just responding to, say, a Facebook post or something like that. Um, Reflect on it and try to understand from their perspective what they mean by that. And it doesn't have to be something super uh, influential or super meaningful to you, what they have to say. But what you get from that is that you get other people's perspectives. I think that a lot of depression and anxiety that people experience is because they don't have a sense of community. And because of that, they feel alone. And I don't think that's necessarily something that people have to do. I think that it does take a little courage to actually go out and meet new people and experience new things with people. But having real conversations with people is probably one of the best ways to overcoming um, your own anxiety of life. Because through the experience of other people, you get a different view of reality. And it doesn't have to be a reality that you necessarily believe in or you accept, but your subconscious and your consciousness will start reflecting on those ideas and creating something out of it that it gives you a different perspective of what you think. I tend to think of it at I tend to think of it as like a a pool of water. So if you have a crystal clear, clean pool of water with no bacteria in or anything like that, all you have is water. There's nothing in there. There's no elements or anything like that to actually make it anything but water. And you can think of our consciousness as water. So if it's clean and there's nothing in it, then it doesn't have any substance to it besides it's just consciousness, pure consciousness. Well, that may be all great and everything, but the reality of it is that it's murky. It has some stuff in there, and we tend to put our own stuff into consciousness, and that's kind of how we are and how we see the world, and that's how we interact with it. Well, if you just have one type of bacteria in it, nothing is gained from it. It's just the bacteria is sitting there and that's it. So in consciousness, if we just have one thought in it, then that's the thought and there's going to be no change. But if you introduce other elements into this pool of water, food or other bacterias and things like that, then these other bacteria or your bacteria starts to change, or the bacteria that represents you starts to change, starts to grow, and starts to, um, you could say, evolve over a period of time to become better. By itself, it's not going to do that. It has no reason to do that. It's perfectly fine, and there's nothing happening besides itself. So what I'm saying is when you introduce your thoughts into a community of people, or you invite people into creating a community inside yourself, then you start to evolve, you start to change. And struggling and having uh, self-reflection through that struggling is part of that change that's required to grow. So when we speak about anxiety, or I speak about anxiety with people that I know, what I often mean from that is not a negative thing. Anxiety is it's the stress that comes from existing in life. Everyone has anxiety because we're all stressed about existing in life. But how we do deal with that is really what is the positive outcome of it or the negative outcome of it. So you can choose to use anxiety as a learning tool, just like the bacteria that I described in the pool, and grow from that over a period of time, evolve and learn to be better. So, um, what I'm suggesting is that people go out and create communities or connect to people that are already in communities and do so in a way that's meaningful and impactful. So there's many like groups online that you can get involved in, obviously that and Facebook and stuff, and it's generally littered with people that are just posting stuff, and there's no substantial information being shared in there whatsoever. What I'm talking about is not um, being one of those people that just posts an image or something like that and says, you know, food for thought or whatever. Um, what I'm talking about is really getting engaged with these people and in these ideas. Express who you really are. And I think the more that you put yourself out there, the more that you have conversation with people, real conscious conversation, the more that you'll get back from it. So if you really want to learn about who you are, I think the best way is to engage with other people. And through that engagement, you'll find a reflection of yourself, and how you react to those engagements as well is a good reflection of yourself. So, personally, when people engage with me, I tend to actually get upset. So, it's sometimes a natural effect that happens. I like dreaming, I like sleep, and I enjoy researching about sleep. So most of the things that I discuss or post about um, are my understanding of that perspective. And most of my engagements are dealing with these types of things. But the um, the way that people respond to this is often implied by their own personal experiences as well. And mine are usually supported by some type of evidence that I've read about through scientific journaling or something like that. And um, I generally get like kind of offended when people are like, you're wrong, you know? But if I take a moment and I step back and I look at why I get upset or why I get offended from people saying you're wrong, and I really give myself that moment to not initially jump at them and respond negatively, then I start learning a little bit about this person and how I am, and why my initial reaction is to kind of react in a negative, attackful way. And through that time, the more that I do that, the less I initially find the need to react instantaneously and attack these people. And additionally, on top of that, when I start talking to these people in real conversations, not just like through a Facebook post, like I generally try to message them independently and ask them, hey, like what are your real views about this? And then it's kind of like a more genuine conversation that we're having. From that, I often learn that these people have really deep, insightful ideas that I can use and also implement into my own understanding of consciousness or reality or sleep and dreaming. And from that, I can grow as a person. So these are just suggestions that, and techniques that I've kind of learned over a period of time through my own experiences of knee jerk reactions and dealing with my own personal stress. But hopefully, you can take these ideas and use them for yourself and create or engage in the community that you most align with and that you can learn the most from. And even sometimes going out of your way to engage with people that you typically wouldn't so you can learn a new perspective from them. I think this is the best way to learn about consciousness because it's something different than ourselves. And again, we can evolve from that and become better people and a better world, I think, in general, if we were all able to do that. So, food for thought. And if you are looking for a community, you can go to our website at TAILEATERS.com /discussions. And there you can click on links that will take you to ongoing discussions or live events in the near future. So, until next time, happy dreaming.